Today's show, just give Kyrie and AD a chance. Let's see what they can do, is something I've heard from a lot of Mavericks fans. I just don't think there's enough reason to do it. Today's Locked On Mavs.
This is Cooper Flagg, and you're listening to Locked On Mavs.
Nick, that's a good question.
Good morning, Isaac. All these changes, I still got my dog, Dwight Powell.
Daily Dallas Mavericks podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Still can't leave you.
Your team every day.
I'm going to get a city like that.
And welcome. You're locked on to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Mavs for 10 years. Thanks for being in every day or making Locked On Mavs your first listen to making the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network out there. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com. Place your NFL live bets all season long. Joining me, as always, my co-host, media member covering the Mavs for 10 years, right alongside me, the Chance Chump, the one we're thinking. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
Don't be calling me a chump. Had a dilemma yesterday, and I need a ruling from you. Went through Starbucks and the drive-thru.
Yeah?
Do you leave tip in a drive-thru?
No.
But don't you feel like forced to though?
Do they have a jar thing?
No. It's like, hey, they you
They
scan
turn the iPad around?
your card, and it's like, hey, and they always get you, hey, there's a question. You just got to answer a question real quick.
Yeah. There's a question. The question is, do you want to give me money or not?
I hit 10% or 15% every single time, but I'm like, every time I drive away, I'm like, why did I just do that?
Yeah,
I mean, to support them, like, for sure, but it's like, I don't
company
understand.
should be supporting them. That's the thing.
Tip in a drive-through. I don't know. I don't. I've struggled with this for 48 hours.
There are certain industries that should be tipped, and other ones that you're like, well, I don't know about that one. Today, we're going to talk about how to build around Cooper Flagg. We got a couple of big questions that we want to see if we can answer about what kind of players, his co-star, what kind of point guard does he need to play with, what kind of, when will his prime be, all kinds of questions like that. But I want to start here, Isaac, because I was scouring around as I was thinking about today's show, looking through our Discord, looking through our text line, looking through Reddit, looking through Twitter comments, all kinds of different things.
Plugs. Let's go.
All kinds of different things. That's correct. And the one thing that I'm seeing a lot of right now is the counter to tank, or the counter to, hey, we should trade AD, is just
there's fans that don't think we should tank?
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. They all hate
just
your
kidding,
guts.
guys.
They all hate your guts right now.
Just kidding.
They all just say, well, let's just give AD and Kyrie a chance. And even slightly kind of had that sentiment in the show we did on Monday with all of us.
I think he still does, yeah.
He still does kind of think that, hey, let's just give it a chance, especially if the trades that they're gonna do look as bad as the ones that we've been seeing floated out there. I saw the Bobby Marks one today that was like Zach LaVine and 2 like pretty bad first round picks for Anthony Davis. I saw the one where it's like Draymond and something else for Anthony Davis. And you're like, all right, if that's what we're gonna do, then what's the point? Just give him a chance. And I start to look at that, and my big question back to any of those people that are like, well, why don't we just give him a chance, is when? When is that going to happen? We've already seen Anthony Davis go through 3 pretty major injuries since he's been here with the Mavericks. The adductor injury that kept him out at the beginning, the retina surgery he had to get in the offseason, and now the calf strain that kept him out this season so many games. Kyrie is coming back from his ACL, and the last time they were healthy, February 8th, 2025. It has almost been a full calendar year. We're like 9 months, 10 months since those guys have both been healthy at the same time.
Was that the Houston half?
That was the Houston half, correct. Very good. Very good class, paying attention. Before that, AD played in 42 of 45 games. Kyrie played in 41 of 52 games last year. And so, but I just don't think it's going to be anytime soon. It's one of the reasons why the Nico Vision was just never going to work, is because you bet on these 2 injured stars, and their timelines of when they're healthy are just never really going to match up. And if they do, could be special. I think they could be really good together. But I just don't think it's going to happen. And if it does happen, will it happen long enough?
Yeah, I mean, you're just holding out hope that, if you're, say, hey, why don't we give it a chance? You're just holding out hope that they are going to overlap. The healthy timelines of them will overlap, and you get to see it for a consistent amount of time. Yeah, I go back to the same question of like, what do you think the ceiling is? And for me, this is what it all boils down to for me right now is, if you're in the camp that you think that the ceiling of this team is a deep playoff run with both of those guys, even risking like if they're not fully healthy, but having both of those guys with the roster, you stand pat, you go for it. If you think the ceiling is a deep playoff run, then I get it. Go like give them a chance. Like if you are in that camp and you think that they have, then argue that from the rooftops. Like sit there and say like I will go to bat because they have all the talent, they have all the stuff. They can go, they can beat somebody, they can get to the conference finals to go against OKC. But if you're not in that camp and you're in the camp of, hey, let's just give it a chance and just see where it rides out. You know, if we land 9th or 10th and we lose in a play-in, we at least got to see it. Or, you know, we barely missed the play-in. We at least got to see a few of the guys. If you're in that camp, that's the camp I like struggle with a lot. And some of you guys are already yelling in the comments about us talking about this
before you even watched it. They haven't even hit play yet.
Listen, I even told Nick, I'm like, it was Nick's idea to do this question. All right. So, because I'm like, my stance is still the same. And so many people get mad at it, but it's like, it's more of, you're already down the path. Like you're already down the path of AD's only played in 10 games. Dereck Lively is out for the rest of the year. Kyrie's not back yet. This is your one pick in the next 5 years you control. Like you're so far down that path already that I just don't. Yeah. But
I'll take that even further. Like Kyrie is out and he may come back January, February, may even come back in March. And that may not be long enough for him to come back and for the Mavericks to be good enough. I'll go far. Dereck Lively is out. That's a massive blow. Gafford has been in and out of the lineup. We don't know when he's going to be fully healthy with that ankle. That's been a big thing for him. Klay Thompson has come on strong a little bit here, but has been pushed to the bench, which I think is not a positive for the Mavericks overall. Your guards are Ryan Nembhard and Brandon Williams, who are doing a pretty decent job here and there, and they show some promise. But I don't know in a playoff setting if either of those guys are holding up, or if, down the stretch in playoff games, how they're able to hold up. Caleb Martin is unplayable. Jaden Hardy is not playable unless you're down by 20 or up by 20, and that is an all-star player. D'Angelo Russell also is out of Jason Kidd's rotation. So it's like all these things that we were hoping would be good at the beginning of the season have just been rendered down to it's not working. Like this isn't working. And even if you get Anthony Davis and Kyrie at the same time, maybe it starts making some of those pieces fit in place. But I don't know. The Mavs right now, their offense is still 30th in the NBA. When Anthony Davis plays, it would be the 23rd offense in the NBA. But their defense also falls from top 10 right now. When Anthony Davis is on the court, their defense is 117.1. That would be 18th in the NBA. It's like that's not elite enough. And I don't know if you're getting back to the elite defense if AD and Lively both aren't available. And Lively's not going to be available the rest of the year. Yeah,
and I want to say, like, I get the sentiment of like wanting to see it happen. Like this is the guy you traded Luka Doncic for and Anthony Davis. Like, and you see him playing some.
You said
you
did it. I didn't do it.
Nico Harrison did.
I just want to be very clear that I had no part of this.
And as much as we laugh about it, that Houston half was fun. All right. Those two quarters.
No, I'm not going back to the Houston half again. That's 2 mentions of the Houston half so far today.
That's the only example we have of Kyrie and AD together. All right. And
Houston
Dallas
wasn't even that good last year.
And we didn't have Cooper. And so like, and I get it. I think there's a lot of fans out there that's like watching this and they're like, man, AD's playing the 5 right now. We have this new franchise guy in Cooper Flagg. Kyrie hasn't even played yet. We love Kyrie. I get all of that. And like, that's really exciting. Like it really is. And if you think that combination can take you really far in the league if some things bounce right, then yeah, that's awesome. Like, and that's what makes sports and like talking about sports so much fun. I'm obviously not in that camp. I don't think that's their ceiling this year. And I don't trust the injury inconsistency and all that matching up and everything aligning perfectly, the planets aligning. I don't think that's their ceiling now that Lively's out for the year and they're just down this path already. And I don't think the cost of trying to reverse on that path and trying to go the other direction, I don't think the cost of that is worth it. But that's just my opinion. Like, so I want to say, like, I get the excitement of it, of wanting to see Kyrie and AD together. These are two of the biggest names in basketball, for a decade now, like these two, Olympian guys. So it's a fun thing. And who knows if we'll ever see it. Right. I mean, it will be pretty wild if they do trade Anthony Davis in the next coming weeks or month. And the only time we got to see AD and Kyrie together were 2 halves or 2 quarters.
Thank you for not saying the Houston half again. And we're just reading the tea leaves on it. Is that I don't think the Mavs want to be in cap hell giving Anthony Davis this extension when Cooper Flagg is going to be getting into his prime in a couple years. I think that's one of the main reasons you're looking at it. Like, all right, they're not good enough now to justify it, and they're not like that. Anthony Davis is not going to be good enough then or available.
And Rich Paul wants his client to get paid.
Right.
Like, this isn't as simple as you don't have to pay him right now. That's not how the NBA works, especially with a guy like Rich Paul. It's like, no, my client is going to get paid. Like,
so then this is what happens. You say, all right, we're not going to pay you right now. All right, well then we'll hold out, and then we'll tank our value even more to where you have to attach stuff potentially to us to get rid of us to somewhere else where someone will pay us.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden, AD's got something that's sore right now. And
AD's medical staff comes and says, "Oh, lower back tightness or the calf is re-aggravated."
Yeah, there's just a lot of different ways that agents get involved with that, and if Dallas isn't willing to give him an extension over the next 12 months sometime, then it's gonna, whether you hold on to him or not, it's gonna get rocky really fast.
Next thing you know, Max Kellerman is here doing a podcast in the Mavs practice facility with Rich Paul. I mean, you just don't know what could happen next. Coming up, let's talk about how to build around Cooper Flagg. What are things we've learned already? We're going to share them coming up next. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by ZocDoc. Guys, it's 2025, almost 2026, almost there. Those days of waiting for something to become a full-blown emergency before you see a doctor, they're over. I see the demographics of this show. Some of us getting there, you just got to go to the doctor. You can't just walk it off anymore for 6 months and pretend like, no, that doesn't hurt. My ankle's not clicking. No, I don't have to worry about that. My shoulder stiffness. I'm just sleeping wrong, all that. You got to take your health seriously, and ZocDoc can help you do that and help make it easier than ever before. Staying healthy is more than just hitting the gym or eating right. It's actually about getting things checked out when something feels off. They're super helpful for routine checkups and those little issues you've been meaning to get checked out. I love when I go to the doctor and I just have the list of all the things hey, let's do this. And I walk out with 3 or 4, different remedies for that. And you can get your doctor signed up on ZocDoc. The app is quick, clean, and honestly removes all the stress of finding the right doctor. That's one of the hardest things. All right, how do I find one? ZocDoc is the way to do that. Stop putting off your doctor's appointments. Get the care you need. Go to ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA and find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA. ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad. That's what we call our listeners, listening every day. Appreciate each and every one of you for checking out the show. Like Isaac said, I plugged our Discord earlier. The 2 ways you can get access to our Discord and hang out with a bunch of Mavs fans talking about Mavs all day is you can subscribe to the text line. The link in the description. You can text Discord to 214-643-8637. You could also join the Everydayers Club, where you get ad-free episodes of this show on audio. You also get access to the Discord, a bunch of other stuff, merch store for Locked On Podcast Network stuff, all kinds of things like that. And so go check that out. And there's links in the description for that too. The Everydayers Club, you can go to lockedonmavericks.supercast.com. All right, Isaac, let's talk about building around Cooper Flagg. This is the one that you brought up today. I want to make sure that everyone knows you brought up this topic today. I brought up the last
this is fun.
This is a fun one. What have we learned about Cooper Flagg so far? Let's start with this. I'm interested. When do you think Cooper Flagg's prime will be? When are we primed to all right, now we're talking about a player that we're building a championship team around?
I mean, probably another 2 to 3 years at least.
Honestly, he's already got the clutch gene. He is playing defense really well, and those are usually 2 things that take a while. We're all right, let's see how this player can eventually, get their own shot. Let's see how this player eventually defends against NBA defenses. And those are 2 things that Cooper Flagg already does really well. I I moved up my timeline. That's one of the things I think I've learned this year. I think I moved up my timeline with Cooper Flagg maybe like 2 years. I'm like, all right, this is an 18-year-old. What's he going to look like in the NBA? It may take a while. First year might be a little rough. But, man, I mean, like 21 years old. Hopefully he's been to the playoffs or at least a play-in or something like that by then. And, like, well, let's start building.
That's why you take the chance to see it, to get that play-in spot.
We should just see it.
And honestly, moving up that timeline, because I'm in the same camp as you, is like, I think he's been better this year than even what I imagined. And I had a pretty high bar. That makes me emphasize this upcoming draft even more because it's kind of like Luka stuff. I always go back to it, but it's like after Luka's rookie season, he was so dang good that you're not like you're instantly in win now mode because he's so good. And they had that 1 year to possibly get a young piece to go next to him, but they had to give up that pick to go get Luka the year before. So
Cam Reddish would have been so good next to him.
Young T-Mac, Cam Reddish. Yeah. And then they, couldn't get Lonzo Trier either. So is a tough move for him.
Toxic.
But when you look at Cooper, I think for me, the thing that I wouldn't say, it's tough to say like learned, because that means it's like something new, but it's something new based off how the season started, is you need a good point guard next to him.
Yeah.
And I think when you look at moving forward and building around Cooper Flagg, that you got to have that, to force Cooper to be the full-time point guard. I don't think it's good for his game. Like, we were never in that camp. We were voicing that frustration from the very beginning. Even when it looked rocky, kept on it didn't make sense. And he needs a guy, and right now I know a lot of people, it's like, it's Ryan Nembhard, whether it's Nembhard, whether it's Kyrie, whether it's a future guard in this upcoming draft, like a Darren Peterson or Michael Brown. I think he needs a dynamic point guard out there. At the minimum, somebody that can handle the ball, run the offense like a Ryan Nembhard. At the ceiling, a Darren Peterson, and an exciting type of scoring guard, a Kyrie Irving right now. So that's for me something I've learned about it.
Yeah, he's not the, SGA could be a guy where he didn't really need a point guard on his team. He's not necessarily the point guard, but he can operate well enough that you're like, all right, well, that offense can work if he is dictating everything that's happening. Obviously, Luka is another one where you look at it. LeBron was one where you're like, you could have Mo Williams next to him, you could still make the NBA Finals. Or Kyrie, who's a point guard but plays off ball really well. That can work, and LeBron's technically your point guard. Cooper Flagg is not that. Like, that is not the type of player that he is. And so he does need somebody next to him to set some of that stuff up. Cooper Flagg is going to be elite as the second guy to get the ball, basically. What Tatum has been. I think Jaylen Brown has done this a lot. And that is something that I wrote down too. If the point guard is not an elite point of attack defender, I think they need an elite point of attack defender, because I think that's just where the NBA is right now. You start looking at, OKC, obviously they have like 4. Houston has Ahmed Thompson. You start looking at some of the other contenders and you go, all right, well, that's the thing right now, is everybody's got this elite point of attack defender, except kind of like Denver, but Denver has an elite playmaker, which is a little different. But
I think they're trying to make, Christian Brown that, Peyton Watson, they're getting some guys there on the perimeter that can guard those other point guards. And I did one more thing the other day talking about Daniel Gafford and Indiana's interest in him. And if they did work out a trade with Indiana, I would love to get Aaron Nesmith back in that deal, because I think Nesmith's one of those dudes that can be a point of attack defender, can hit the outside shot, obviously. But yeah, that's good, because Cooper's a really good defender and a really good ISO defender, but like you don't want to ask Cooper to be the point guard defender all game long.
The two things he was asked to do at the beginning of the season is be the point guard and the point guard defender.
Yeah, I'll stay on the defensive route. I put, in an ideal perfect world, building around Cooper Flagg, that you would want an anchor big that allows Cooper to play center field. And I think Cooper is at his best as that, like, help side, kind of like the Anthony Davis role. Like, one of the reasons why AD loves playing the 4 is he doesn't have to be the big body banging down low, and he can kind of play that center field, come over the top, weak side block, stuff like that. And I think Cooper has that. He has, I mean, just all the incredible timing plays that he has this season, to where someone is, going up underneath somebody, or they're flying past somebody, and here comes Cooper over the top of them, just swatting the ball. So I think, and it's sad that Lively would be this guy.
Oh, I know.
But whoever it is, having a, he had a Malawach at Duke that could be that guy. He's so good at the little short alley-oops to those guys too, the touch, the passing, but defensively it just allows him almost like, and you're like, hey, what's the opposite of that? If you had a guy like Şengün that is not the like anchor defensive big, it's not, and not saying it would never like work, but I just, having a defensive big down low, like even like thinking about like Şengün and Cooper, they're so smart, they would make it work. But I would just love to have that center spot be an anchor big that can guard these other bigs.
Well, if he would play with a Şengün or like a Jokic, obviously, could Cooper Flagg be good enough in the Aaron Gordon role to make a defense work like that? And I kind of think they could. I think you and I are talking about what's optimal for him to play next to.
Yes, of course.
But I think he could make it work, which is another thing that we learned about Cooper Flagg, which let's talk about this coming up. Cooper Flagg is so versatile that you can almost put anything around him, and he's going to try to make it work. And we'll tell you why coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by friends over at Quo. New year, new me, new systems. This is the time when a lot of us look at the messier parts of running a business and think, man, there's got to be a better way than this. When you're like wrapping a present and you're like, there's just got to be an easier way than what I'm doing right now. Sometimes we look at businesses like that too. Today's episode brought to you by Quo, spelled Quo. Smarter way to run your business communications. If you're ready to make your workday smoother and keep customers connected without the headaches, Quo makes upgrading your setup easier than ever. Have calls, texts, and voicemails in one clean view, keeps everything organized and helps you stay responsive. The AI summaries and call logging can feel like having an assistant keeping track of every detail when you can't, which is awesome. It's surprisingly easy. You can work from your phone or your computer, keep your existing number, and add teammates in minutes. Make this the year where no opportunity and no customer slip away. Try Quo free, plus get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/LockedOnNBA, Quo.com/LockedOnNBA. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. Also brought to you by FanDuel. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play and suddenly everything feels different. You can go check out FanDuel and see what is available for you. All the live betting you can do during games. There's all kinds of fun things that you can do. And the NBA has a ton as well. Right now, we're recording during Nuggets Kings. The Nuggets are a 26.5 point favorite in this one. The Kings are not.
Oh my gosh.
They're not playing real basketball right now. But they have real ones where you can be like the team to score 141st point. Nuggets or the Kings. You can do all kinds of different things on here during this. To score 5+ points, Bruce Brown, Keon Ellis, Precious Chua, Neat Clifford are all here where you can just, all right, if you think that they're going to go on a little run and score 5 points, you can go do that. All kinds of things on FanDuel. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action for the NFL or NBA this season, visit FanDuel.com, place your live NFL bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, so can you.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
All right, Isaac, let's keep talking about building around Cooper Flagg. We talked about a couple of things that we learned about him. But one of the things I learned, and I think we knew this already because one of the things we really hyped up about him coming into this season was he's so versatile. He can do everything on a basketball court. And you mentioned Şengün, and you're like, well, that wouldn't be optimal. And then I started thinking, well, he could just be the best version of Aaron Gordon next to a Şengün type, and he could make that work. And that's one of the things that's cool about him is that I started to think of, all right, what's the ideal co-star next to Cooper Flagg? And I was like, all right, does it have to be an elite shot maker? Does it have to be an elite playmaker? Because he's not necessarily like an elite passer playmaker. He is a really good playmaker. Does it have to be like a shot blocker? Like, what kind of player does it have to be? And I was like, honestly, you start naming all the stars in the league and you're like, all right, Kevin Durant, he could play next to him. All right, Luka, he could play next to him. All right, Jokic, he could play next to him. Like he could just really fit next to anything. You could have really any kind of star as long as you have, I think you need another elite playmaker on the court at some point and another elite shot maker on the court with him. And I think that you could create a contending type team.
Yeah, I made that Şengün comment, and then I was thinking while you're doing the ad break, I'm like, well, he did win a lot of games with Derek Queen. So, and that's kind of like Derek Queen's like comp.
What kind of competition is he going up against in high school?
I know, but it just goes to show you, it's like
That team
it's
was
it's
stacked.
almost like it's almost harder to do the, hey, what would be the worst roster you could put around Cooper? Because
It's
my
not
first
bad
bullet,
players. You know?
yeah, like my first bullet point for this topic was the same thing that you just said. I said Cooper doesn't require an exact path. What?
What's the bad version of around Cooper Flagg? It's kind of what we saw at the beginning of this season. 2 centers that don't space the floor, him playing
Okay.
point guard and a shooting guard that's not hitting shots. You know, it's like, what things can we name?
Maybe that was the game that they were playing in the front office. They're like, hey, what do you think's the worst thing we could do?
That's the worst version.
In you know, we'll compare just because we had Luka the past 7 years. With Luka, he's so dynamic as this, you know, the magician on the floor. There were these defined roles in all the spots that you needed at the 5 and you know, shooting, and then okay, well, you need that secondary ball handler, the creator, and the guys that the wings got to be in the corners, then these exact spots. So you're trying to you're defining the roles more before you get the players. And for Cooper, now Luka's the better player than Cooper right now. I'm not trying to do that. It's just for Cooper, he can fit with so many different players. So it's like, you know, now ideally, I think you have, I mean, I put it on there too, as like some type of go-to scorer alongside of him.
Yeah.
Whether it's a point guard or a wing, whether it's a dynamic scoring point guard that you're pairing with Cooper, or you go to Boston route. Like, you know, and we have fun joking about the draft and stuff. It's like, all right, cool. You land at 1, you take Darren Peterson. It's like, all right, well, what if you get DeBonta instead? Well, there's your like new age Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Like you have these 2 dynamic wings that play both sides of the ball. So I think just having help on that side, having another creator, no matter the position. And then I just put shooting, like, because the ball is going to be in that point guard's hand and Cooper's hands. And then at that point, you need shooting. So you got to have, I mean, Cooper, you think about the clutch, he's already incredible passer, making the right decisions, but you just need spacing out there. I mean, Klay Thompson, the space that he provides out there, even when he's not even hitting, good, it still just opens up the floor so much. Cooper wants to drive, and then he can kick out to the shooters. So I think that's a perfect world.
Perfect world that can happen from now on. Not perfect world in the going back.
Well, you even look at Tatum too in Boston. Tatum is has been like a common comp for him.
Yeah,
and they've won a title. He's been to the playoffs a ton. It's like what has made that work? Well, they got a second star in there, a second young star, another one they drafted.
When did they win a title?
Wait, did they not? No, it's okay.
Black that out of my memory for some reason.
they got it. They got the second star that they drafted, and they had Jaylen, then Tatum. But it's like they had the running mate in Brown. They had shooting around them. They had a point guard out there that could run the offense at times. I mean, actually, 2 of them with Drew and Derek White. They had a versatile big in Horford.
Yeah,
I think that's
and
a unique
Porzingis.
part of that, but. Horford doesn't really fit that blend. It's hard to like put Horford in a defined like 5-man type of archetype.
Yeah.
But you just like look at a situation like that, and when you look at other things across the league, this sounds like I'm going to go down the tank thing again, but I promise this is not the reason for it. But you look at these other teams right now, like you look at the Magic. I was watching the Magic the other night, and it's a fun team. Franz is obviously got hurt, but glad it's not like season ending. But you look at that Magic team that so many people are excited about right now, that they made their all-in move to get Desmond Bane. And I'm like, well, crap. Paolo was pick 1 in 2022. Franz was pick 8 in 2021.
Yeah.
Anthony Black was pick 6. Jalen Suggs was pick 5. Even De Silva was pick 18. These are all in the past 4 years. And it's like
all chances they took.
Yeah. And this is an up and coming young team that they're starting to grow up, together. And they're one of the, best teams. And, we've already talked about San Antonio with Vassell and Castle and Harper and Sohan, and even like Carter Bryant, who barely plays. These are picks over the past 4 or 5 years that are in the lottery. Cade Cunningham in Detroit with Duran and Thompson and Stewart and Holland and Ivy. These are all lottery picks over the past 4 to 5 years. And these are young teams. You mentioned Houston earlier with Amen and Şengün and these guys. Like, these are the teams. Yeah, these are the teams right now that everybody's super excited about. And they're some of the teams that people are looking at saying, well, dang, they can cash in some of those assets too and go out and get a big star player to go alongside their young stud too. So, yeah, it's just, yeah.
One of the things I looked up recently was I was curious, the pick number for the 2 best players on a title team, because I couldn't think of a lot of number 1 picks that had won titles. It's just really hard. The last one to do it was LeBron and AD in 2020. And then before that, it was LeBron and Kyrie in 2016, where those are the only 4 number 1 picks to win. Well, I guess it's 3 because LeBron did it twice, but the only 3 number 1 picks to win a title in the last like 10 years or so. And so you take that point, you go, oh, wait, hold on then. You can find guys. You don't have to get top 5 picks in order to find a co-star that's gonna work. SGA was 11. Jalen Williams was 12. Tatum and Brown were both 3. So there's another one. Jokic was 41. Murray was 7. Curry was 7. Draymond Green was 35. Maybe you count Wiggins that year. He was number 1. But Giannis was 15. Chris Middleton was 39th pick in his draft. Kawhi was 15. Kyle Lowry was 24. Then you go back to Durant was number 2. Curry was number 7. That's 2 years in a row. But then before that is Curry 7. Draymond 35. Andre Iguodala 9. You know, like you're hearing all these picks, but it's just about the Mavs can find a co-star not in a top 5. They don't, if they miss out on a top 5 pick this year, if they can't tank hard enough, or if they don't decide to tank or whatever, it is possible. It is very hard though. It's very hard to find that exact right player.
Yeah. Yeah. I even look at, Philly right now, and it's like, you're not even really like caring about Embiid or Paul George. It's like the young guys with
and forget
Maxey.
About Ben Simmons and Markelle Fultz and Nerlens even going back to that. Like they had all those bites that didn't work.
Yeah, but like right now, this new wave for him and Maxey, Edgecombe, and Jared McCain, 3 guys that they've drafted, 3 dynamic young dudes that hopefully they can build around. And the Hawks, players, even looking at the Cavs and Mobley and Garland, but the Hawks have so many different draft picks and stuff. And I wonder if it says anything. It probably doesn't, but just hearing you name off those names, those were all like older players, like years ago, when all the teams I'm talking about right now, the up and coming teams, are all like the younger guys and higher draft picks. I wonder if that means anything. I don't know. Like,
time has passed. I don't know. Back in 2015, when Curry and Draymond were they were the young guys coming up. Like they were the OKC's team age, right? Like,
yeah,
Curry's what, 37, right, or 35 right now. So he was 25 that year, something like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it just means we're old as hell right now.
but it is it is a slim. I don't want to say like a hard. You're talking about how hard it is building around when you get a number 1 pick and you get one of these guys and you get lucky and you get a chance at getting one of these guys. It's so vital about how you build around these guys in their first 4 to 6 years. And for Dallas, they're going to have to do this without owning their pick. So they're going to have to get creative, and it's either, trading off some of the, pieces to get some more draft picks to help you in the next 4 to 6 years, or it's hitting home runs on some trades or free agents that you can free up cap space for. It's going to have to be that route.
Yeah, find a pick or hit on, a Jalen Brunson, a Chris Middleton, a Draymond Green, a Jokic. Like hit on those second round picks if you can. Yep. Hit somebody. You have to hit
Ryan Nembhard, baby.
An absolute home run, and I'm glad they have their second star in Ryan Nembhard already.
But it's such a fun time though, because I think the hardest thing is to get the Cooper Flagg. And imagine we've said this a million times, but imagine going through all of this right now and you didn't have Cooper. And it's like,
would you want to give the Mavs a chance, Kyrie and AD, if they didn't have Flagg?
That's a great. I don't know.
Would you just have no emotions anymore at all? You just be like dead inside and be like, all right, sure.
I want to say no, just because this draft is so good. I mean, I don't think they would have 9 wins right now without Cooper. So they would probably be more in the mix with the other worst teams in the league.
True.
I think I would probably still have the same stance because those top guys in this upcoming draft are so good. And except it would be like, hey, we got to try to find that next young guy.
Yeah.
But I would definitely be more willing to hear it out of, hey, what the heck? Like, you might as well.
Check the QR code links in the description for different ways to follow the show, including the Everydayers Club, where you can get ad-free shows, and the Discord, and our text line, where you can get messages and alerts from us, and the Discord as well. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.